The conference room on the 12th floor smelled like fresh espresso and overpriced cologne. Jordan Tate burst through the glass doors like he owned the place,
which he clearly believed he did.
Freshly minted as Chief Digital Officer at Quantum Edge Solutions, the 28-year-old Nepo baby carried the confidence of someone whose last name opened every door. He scanned the room, spotted me crouched beside the switchboard cabinet feeding power and Ethernet to the entire floor, and pointed. "Hey, IT girl. Wi-Fi's garbage. Fix it.
Now."
His fingers snapped twice, sharp and dismissive, the sound cutting through the low murmur of executives reviewing quarterly projections. A few heads turned. Half-smiles appeared, those awkward, waiting to see what happens expressions people wear when someone else is about to be publicly shamed. I was wearing steel-toed boots, cargo pants, and a company-issued zip-up hoodie. My toolkit spread out on the floor. Tools in hand, laptop balanced on my knee. I didn't flinch. "I'm handling tenant infrastructure right now," I said, voice level, almost bored. "Give me 15 minutes and it'll be stable." Jordan scoffed, crossing his arms. "I don't care what you're handling. You're fired." Just like that. No introduction. No questions. No HR. No supervisor. He said it casually, like ordering a latte with an extra shot. The words landed heavy in the room. Someone's pen stopped scribbling. A junior analyst shifted uncomfortably. I felt the familiar cocktail rise, hot rage mixed with that surreal detachment you get when arrogance meets reality. But I didn't raise my voice. I didn't argue. I simply closed my laptop, gathered my tools with deliberate calm, and picked up the sealed envelope resting on the cabinet. Lease renewal documents. Signed. Time-stamped. Ready for final review. I stood, boots echoing softly on the polished concrete as I walked out. The glass door hissed shut behind me. Jordan was already barking at someone else about the connection speed, treating the interruption like a minor annoyance. No one stopped me. That was the thing about being invisible. You could walk right past security, past the lobby guard named Ray, who only nodded politely, past the elevators, and straight out into the Austin afternoon heat. What none of them knew, what Jordan Tate would learn the hard way, was that I wasn't just some vendor tech dispatched from a third-party contractor. My badge didn't scan because I was on their payroll. It scanned because I controlled access to the entire building. I owned it, quietly, through the Hale Family Trust, layered behind holding companies and silent partners so no one could trace it back to Morgan Hale, the woman who fixed printers and rerouted cables. 6 years earlier, this place had been a half-empty relic from the dot-com bust, a crumbling former manufacturing warehouse in Austin's East Side tech corridor, peeling paint, flickering fluorescents, elevators that groaned like they were on their last breath. Startups rotated through like a bad dating app, promising ideas. Zero follow-through. Rent checks bouncing by month 3. I saw potential in the bones. Thick concrete floors perfect for server weight. Proximity to fiber lines. City incentives for green retrofits. I made the calls. Found a mentor investor who trusted my vision enough to back the play without micromanaging. Formed the trust. Bought floor by floor through strategic LLCs. Always staying anonymous. Renovations were surgical. Modern HVAC that wouldn't fail during Texas summers. Redundant power systems. Biometric secured server suites. By year 3 I owned it outright. But I never put my name on the plaque. Never showed up in heels and a power suit. I dressed like staff because I was staff, the kind who could adjust rent, enforce clauses, or shut down an entire floor with a few keystrokes. Real power doesn't announce itself. It hums underneath. Reliable. Unseen until you need it. Or until you disrespect it. I walked the 3 blocks to the small property management office I kept on the ground floor. The one tenants assumed belonged to a facilities coordinator. The envelope in my hand felt heavier now. Inside the quiet suite, I logged into the master system, pulled up Quantum Edge's lease file, Suite 1201, full floor. Premium terms they'd enjoyed for years thanks to my quiet upgrades. Section 7C. Hostile or unprofessional conduct toward designated property agents triggers immediate review and potential non-renewal within 14 days. I'd written that clause myself after a similar incident years ago with a different tenant. That one had apologized, sent flowers, learned humility. Quantum Edge wouldn't get the chance. I attached the lobby camera footage, 4K, crystal clear, audio capturing every snap, every barked order. Jordan's face filled the frame, smug and entitled. Mine stayed calm, professional. Witnesses visible. No ambiguity. The system auto-generated the notice of non-renewal. Clean PDF. No drama. Auto-emailed to their legal contact. Copied to building manager Donovan Ellis. And printed for the compliance files. By the time Jordan finished his next meeting, the clock was already ticking. 14 days. I leaned back in the chair, letting the hum of the servers fill the silence. It didn't feel like revenge. It felt like balance restored. He thought he'd fired an expendable contractor. He had just fired the landlord. 9 minutes. That's how long the illusion held before the panic started. I was halfway through reviewing utility reports when Donovan Ellis burst into the office. Ty Askew. Face pale as fresh printer paper. Morgan Lena. Were you just upstairs? In 1201. I looked up slowly, keeping my expression neutral. I was handling the infrastructure visit.
Yes.
But I'm no longer required up there. His eyes widened. He connected the dots fast enough to sprint back toward the elevators. Up on 12, Jordan Tate was still holding court in the lounge, latte in hand. Smug grin plastered across his face as he explained some new AI workflow to the team. Executives pretended to work while stealing glances, waiting for direction on how to react to the earlier scene. Donovan didn't knock. He strode in, scanned the room, and locked eyes on Jordan. Who exactly did you fire this morning? Jordan blinked, caught off guard. The IT girl? She was rude about the Wi-Fi. Told her to fix it, and she gave attitude. Canned her on the spot. No big deal. The silence that dropped was thick, suffocating. Donovan's face went completely still, jaw tight. That was the representative from the Hale Family Trust. She was finalizing your lease renewal documents. You just violated the terms, Section 7C. Hostile conduct toward property personnel. The words landed like a slap. A pen clattered to the floor. One executive sat straighter, suddenly very alert. Jordan laughed nervously. Wait.
What?
She's just a tech. Winters, Hale, whatever. The building owner? Donovan nodded once. Voice low. The trust is real. She's been the on-site agent for years. The lease is crystal clear. You read that clause, right? Of course he hadn't. Jordan had skimmed contracts the way he skimmed people, looking for bullet points he could ignore. His phone buzzed on the table. Donovan glanced at his own device, winced, then turned the screen toward Jordan. The email notification glowed. Notice of non-renewal. Suite 1201. Violation logged. 14-day vacancy notice. Jordan's face drained of color. She can't just, I didn't know. She never said who she was. She didn't need to, Donovan replied quietly. She runs this building.
Quietly.
Professionally. You treated her like furniture. The room went colder. No one spoke. Jordan looked around for allies, for someone to spin this. But the executives avoided eye contact. They understood now. They had watched their VP's son fire the one person standing between them and cardboard boxes. The legal call came less than an hour later. I was sipping iced tea in the compliance office, chatting with Diane from records, when my phone vibrated. Unknown number. Austin area code. I answered flatly. "This is Morgan." A polished voice on the other end. "MS. Hail. This is Rebecca Lang from Quantum Edge Legal. We'd like to discuss resolving the non-renewal before it escalates." I let the silence stretch. I wasn't aware things had escalated. "We understand there may have been a misunderstanding with Mr.
Tate.
Perhaps a formal apology. A remediation fee." "MS. Lang." I interrupted evenly. "No one was terminated. I remain the authorized agent for the trust." Mr. Tate attempted to dismiss a leasing representative during an active site visit. In front of witnesses. On recorded footage. Section 7C addresses this precisely. A long pause. "I've reviewed it now. We're prepared to offer a written public apology from Mr. Tate himself." "That's unfortunate timing," I said. "The process is already engaged. This isn't personal. It's policy, the same policy that kept your rates stable and infrastructure reliable." She tried once more, voice tightening. "Is there any path to avoid displacement? You had 14 minutes of grace. It's gone." I ended the call and hit send on the final confirmation. The whoosh of the outbox felt satisfyingly mechanical. Systems worked faster than emotions ever could. No rage needed. Just precision. 2 days later the email arrived. Polite. Corporate. Desperate underneath. Following up, hoping to connect in person this week to clear the air. Signed by Nathan Caldwell, their director of operations. I didn't reply right away. Instead, I updated the leasing portal. Suite 1201 relist full floor. Move-in ready. Premium cybersecurity infrastructure. Triple redundant cooling. Competitive rates. Within 20 minutes, 3 serious inquiries hit the inbox. 1 government contractor. 1 AI startup. 1 restructuring law firm. I replied to Nathan's team with clinical brevity. Suite 1201 is no longer available for internal discussions. It has returned to open market. Showings begin Thursday. Leasing contact linked below. 15 minutes later. Clarifying, still possible to renew if certain personnel are reassigned? I left it unread. Silence spoke volumes. They had mistaken my quiet competence for weakness. They forgot I designed the wiring powering their Zoom calls. The cooling preventing server meltdowns during earnings season. Eviction day arrived under gray Texas skies. Sharp wind whipping through the service entrance. 3 unmarked trucks pulled up at 7:58 a.m. No drama. Just efficient crews in hoodies and gloves. Quantum Edge staff packed in stunned silence. The reception desk's marble veneer came off first, revealing cheap plywood underneath. Smoke-tinted glass panels were carefully unmounted. Chairs rolled out in uneven lines. I moved through the stripped floors with clipboard in hand. Inspection tags ready. Equipment racks already cleared by contracted techs I had personally approved. The kitchenette still held half-drunk wellness teas and monogrammed mugs. The space reeked of sanitized ambition that had never quite taken root. Jordan was nowhere to be seen, cowardice finding convenient meetings elsewhere. Halfway through the executive lounge checklist, a young associate approached, mid-20s. Red badge still clipped to his belt, box of desk plants and pens in hand. "Excuse me, everyone's wondering, who really owns this building?" I hit the elevator call button. Turned back with the softest smile I could manage. "Ask your former CDO."
The doors closed.
Clean silence. 6 days after the last box rolled out, I signed the new lease with Vanguard Cyber Solutions. Their CEO, Dr. Sophia Lang, toured once and simply said, "This place has real backbone." No flash. No ego, just thoughtful questions about load balancing and expansion capacity. Paperwork moved fast.
Deposit wired.
Badges issued. Their team arrived early, dressed for actual work, treating support staff with quiet respect. On day 2 of onboarding, Sophia herself came to the property office. Would you consider advising us long-term on infrastructure? Outside landlord role. Of course. Your specs feel lived in. Forward-thinking. I accepted. This time my badge read, Morgan Hale. Principal advisor. No more hiding. One engineer glanced at it during the server room tour and grinned. So, you're the one behind all this? Guilty as charged. He looked around appreciatively. We're in excellent hands. That simple acknowledgement landed deeper than any boardroom praise ever had. For years, I had chosen invisibility as protection.
Now,
with the right people, visibility felt earned. 3 months later, I sat in the corner booth at the downstairs cafe, black coffee cooling as I scrolled. Jordan Tate's face appeared in my feed, filtered hiking photo. Gear too pristine to be authentic. Caption: taking time to recalibrate. Excited for new horizons. Gratitude season. Comments flooded in with generic encouragement. One stood out. Surgical. Try recalibrating your respect for the people holding the keys. No reply from Jordan. I closed the app and walked toward the elevator. Sophia would be waiting upstairs with her legal pad and precise questions about cooling redundancies. Real leadership, grounded, respectful. Jordan had thought he fired an IT contractor. Instead, he evicted his company from a building wired for consequences. Power isn't loud. It's the quiet infrastructure you rely on until it's gone. The real question lingers. How many people do we dismiss every day, never realizing they hold the keys to the rooms we take for granted?